Welcome back to the TWSN YouTube channel. Today we have an NFL mock draft. We are about halfway through the NFL season. Always fly by. I know it sucks, but the draft is always an exciting time and something you can look forward to whenever you want. Now this year it's pretty unique. We have a lot of trades. We have a lot of ups and downs so far with a lot of surprising team. As you can see here, the Raiders currently hold the second pick. The Bucks are kind of floating around in that, mediocre range. That's a little surprising. So again, this is the standings right now. A lot of things will change between now and the draft, but for now, we're going to have some fun and play with some hypotheticals here. And let's just get right into it with the Houston Texans. I think if they're going to end up holding the first overall pick, I know Davis Mills might not be the issue, but he's certainly not the answer. Now I'm going to go ahead and give him CJ Stroud here at the first pick. This is me. I prefer Bryce Young a little bit, but I think the Texans could kind of get a little weary of Bryce Young's size. I think you're going to see a lot of that brought up. I personally am not one of those people, but I think the Texans really, 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 really just want to hit on a quarterback, and they're going to take the guy who they view as safer, just with as little as issues as possible. In this case, that's CJ Stroud from Ohio State. Not a knock either. They're pretty, really close prospects, but just he's got your more prototypical size and build than Bryce Young. Now, the Raiders, this is where things get fun, man. Do they get a quarterback? Derek Carr, again, isn't really the issue, but he's not a long-term answer either. I think if they somehow stay at the second overall pick, it will be Will Anderson Jr. Their defense has just simply been terrible. There's no other way to put it. They need to get better, and that's a big-time addition as well. Everybody knows that Chandler Jones signing hasn't been that great. But good thing you don't need him anymore with Will Anderson Jr. Probably the best player in the draft regardless of position. Panthers, everybody knows it's going to be a quarterback. It's going to be whatever quarterback is left. I do expect him to hold one of these top picks to land probably Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, unless they somehow Baker Mayfield leads them on a second half, just crazy, unreal story. Not going to happen. Now the Eagles, man, it's unreal what the Eagles have done to put themselves in this position. They hold this pick from the Saints. Fourth pick. There's a chance it sticks pretty much up in this 4 range. I don't think it can get much higher. But from this 4 to like 10, this pick could really fall for a team that is Super Bowl destined. Like, this team is a legit Super Bowl contender, and they're going to be picking as high as they are. That's an extreme luxury. Now, if this is the case, Jalen Carter. You got the Georgia boys up the middle now, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. You gave Fletcher Cox replacement. Look at what the Eagles have done in the last few days. Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, they value the interior defensive line. So you're going to go get the best interior defensive lineman. Probably one of the best interior defensive lineman prospects we've seen in quite some time in Jalen Carter from Georgia. Now the Jags are an interesting team too. The Jags kind of had a hot start to the year, and a lot of people are pretty high on them, including myself. But it just hasn't really, like come to fruition too much. We might have been a little bit of a year early. They traded for Calvin Ridley. This is a pretty big receiver spot for me usually, but they're picking this high. I think there's a chance they really do stick up here. There's a couple of things they could do. I like Myles Murphy. They could really go corner if they want. They could beef up the offensive line, and that's kind of the range I was thinking. But for me, I think I am going to stick with the offensive line. It's going to look like a reach because I'm scrolling down, but it's not. This man right here, Fashanu from Penn State. Everything you want in a tackle, size, length, just athleticism. Everything is there. He's such a good prospect, and the best part about him, he is 19 years old. 19 years old. There's a chance he doesn't even declare for the draft. But if he does, I promise you he is going to go extremely high because he has all tools. He's producing at an elite level at Penn State, and he's 19 years old. That's almost unheard of to have that elite of production at the tackle position and to be draft eligible. It's so easy to see a team like Jacksonville who could use that position just salivating over him there at 5, and they do. The Bears would be another team that probably would like that as well. The Bears, like in this position, they got a lot that could go. I really do think they need some offensive linemen. But I just think you could probably find some value in there later in the draft. And I'm not just going to pass up on an opportunity to add a guy like Myles Murphy to this Bears team. They need some pass rush help. They've obviously traded Robert Quinn and Wilcon Smith. This defense needs some help. The offensive line needs some help too. The offense needs some help as well. That's what you have for agency. That's what you have the later rounds for. At the beginning of pick 6, you don't force a pick due to position of need. Now, the Seattle Seahawks, kind of surprised a lot of people this year, obviously. They're kind of coming back down to earth a wee bit. But again, regardless, 2 2 first-round picks thanks to Denver and Russell Wilson and their own. I think both of these picks will kind of even out. I think they'll probably be more like, both like 12, 18-ish, 12, 15-ish. Like they'll be a lot closer than they currently are at 7 and 22. But for now, it's not. So we're going to continue to look at like it is true. Now this one is interesting. There's so many people they could go. They could go corner. Tyreek Woolen's been great, but they still need a guy outside of him. That's real too. But Brian Breeze is kind of interesting to me as well. They've had decent play, but on the defensive line, but I don't know how much of it is truly sustainable. So for me, it's really tough here between Keely Ringo and Brian Brzee. I think I'm gonna go Brian Brzee. He's just, he's former top recruit. He's just battled a little bit of injuries. I know we've all heard the terrible story about his sister, but he's a hell of an athlete when he's on the field. And it's just, if he can stay healthy, that's the Seahawks are getting a hell of a player. And when you have 2 first-round picks like that, you can take some risks on those guys because the upside is just phenomenal. Now the Lions. Again, the Lions could take a quarterback here. Maybe Will Levis is their guy. Maybe not. I can't tell you that for sure. But it wouldn't shock me if they took a quarterback. But I don't think they will. I don't think it'll be the time there. There's, again, they could use corner. Jeff Okudah's had a little bit of a resurgence here, but still, they need a little bit of help in a bunch of different ways. Their offense is honestly pretty fine. Maybe they add another receiver, I think, but the Michael Mayer here, 14, just feels like a Lion to me. There's just something about him. He's just, they traded Hawkinson. They kind of need that guy. But I'm going to go with a different position for right now. Again, a little bit farther down the board, but Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. He's a lot like Trayvon Walker from last year, but he's obviously a little worse. You see he's going 8th instead of 1st, but he's got them long arms, uber athlete, just a very good, fun player. You have Aiden Hutchinson. Now you get him a running mate here in Tyree Wilson. Again, 2 teams, 2 first-round picks, very close to one another. And another one of those teams, the Texans, right here. I'm going to pick C.J. Stroud earlier. And now, okay, I'm going to give him Keely Ringo here just because I think that's kind of the way the league is heading. You give him Keely Ringo and Derek Stingley, that's an elite cornerback pairing for a long time if they can manage things correctly there. They need some pass rush help, but this draft has a lot of depth at the pass rush. They have another first-round pick still. Well, technically they have 32, which is a first-round pick technically with, the whole Dolphins fiasco. So they need to take a little bit of advantage of that as well. Pittsburgh here pretty easily. Peter Skoronski, they need offensive line help. He's the best one there, and it's just pretty simple plug and play there for me. Now again, I told you it earlier. There's just something about him. Michael Mayer to the Detroit Lions, man. They're not afraid to take him early. They took T.J. Hawkinson early. This is their second first-round pick. Super solid player. Super solid player. The upside with Michael Mayer in the NFL is to be determined for me, but there's no doubt in my mind he will be a good tight end. I don't know if he will develop into an elite tight end in the NFL, but there is no doubt in my mind he will be a really good tight end in the NFL for a long time. Now, the Atlanta Falcons. This one's interesting. Is this a quarterback? Will Levis is kind of that. He provides you with some mobility, like they want Marcus Mariota, but he's a better thrower. I still think they'll probably should give Desmond Ridder a shot, so I'm going to go away from that. I think there's a couple positions you can look at here. Obviously, there's some corners. Bijan Robinson is interesting to me too, but I just don't think a team's going to take him that high. I would not be surprised if they did. But I'm going to give them a receiver, the first receiver off the board here, in my opinion. I'm going to give him Jordan Addison. I think when all said and done, Quentin Johnston's probably going to be my wide receiver 1, but they already have a bigger body guy like Drake London. They have Kyle Pitts. I think they need a smooth operator, smooth route runner on the outside that they can just is a little bit more reliable, just in the fact that you can trust him to get open a little more. You can throw the ball up to Kyle Pitts and Drake London. But Jordan Addison just kind of fits like a glove in that, not like a slot role, but kind of that slot archetype where he's just, creates separation almost effortlessly. So it's just a pretty great fit there in Atlanta. Their defense is playing well. Again, I think that's something they can take advantage on later in the draft. The offensive line has been very good this year. They need some running back help, but they drafted a few guys last year. I have a few younger guys. It's just Jordan Addison. You have your receiver core. Now let's Maybe it's for Desmond Ritter. Maybe they could do something else. But I love the fit there with Jordan Addison alongside Kyle Pitts and Drake London. Now, Arizona, a little bit of a crazy team here. They can go a lot of different ways as well. I'm going to go ahead and give them a corner. They've been needing a corner for so long. I'm going to give them Joey Porter Jr. They need cornerback help. They just do. Not like the Steelers. They need offensive line help. It just screams at you when you're sitting there. The Packers, man. I don't know. I was going to go ahead and just give him Quentin Johnson. I'm going to go ahead and do it. He needs some receiver. Christian Watson's been great these last 2 weeks, but still, you still need other people outside. I do like Romeo Doubs. You kind of need some tight end work there too, but they just need more talent on the outside, and that's just what you're getting there with Quentin Johnson. He's a great compliment to Christian Watson, in my opinion. He's a really good fit. So not much to overthink there. Again, not going to overthink it. Will Levis to the Colts. The Colts need a quarterback. They need a quarterback. Man, Sam Ehlinger is not your guy. Nick Foles is not your guy. Matt Ryan is not your guy. Go get Will Levis. Will Levis has a wide range. I could see him going in the top 6, 7. I can see him falling a little bit. There's some other quarterbacks that could jump him as well. But he has got everything you want in a quarterback prospect. Will it work? Will it pan out? I can't tell you that, but I think there's a good shot. He's a pretty solid quarterback in the NFL for a long time. With the Colts, you got a good run game. That will help him a lot. That'll be crucial in his development. They got some okay receivers. Obviously, need to work on that a little bit. But the way the Colts typically play football, Will Levis feels like a really good fit within that offense. Now here, Washington. Again, another team that just has obvious needs, in my opinion, and you just give them a corner, Cam Smith. It's almost as simple as that sometimes. It's not very fun, but I'm sure if you're a Commanders fan, you know how bad your secondary is. And adding a guy like Cam Smith, they had J.C. Horn come out of South Carolina from a few years ago. Great prospect, really solid pick, great value. Everything kind of just fell in your lap there for Washington. Now, here with the Chargers, again, a team that can go a lot of different ways. I think they need someone to figure out how to stop the run somehow, some way. They do. But there's just something about some of these receivers that are just fun to me. You can add some speed. I'm going to go ahead and give him Jackson Smith and Jigba. Now, I say give him some speed. He's not blazing fast by any means, but he is a very, 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 very good receiver. And his stock is probably falling to a lot of people because he hasn't played much this year. But everybody saw what he was capable of last year. 300 yards in a bowl game. Just ridiculous. Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Chargers, getting Justin Herbert another weapon, a young weapon, to pair with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. They can go a lot of ways there. They can, but I think they're probably going to take a shot on a receiver like this, continue to kind of play free agency for their defense and some of the other skill positions. But again, this is the first round. There's plenty of rounds in the draft, deep edge class, so they can take advantage of players there. Now, Cincinnati Bengals. This is a tough one. I like a lot of tight ends here for them. Darnell Washington is very fun. Very, very fun. Tucker Kraft down here will not be drafted as the tight end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can promise you that. But this is interesting. They could maybe grab an offensive lineman. Jonah Williams hasn't been the best. They can work some things out. I don't think they'll do that. I think this pick is probably going to be on the defensive side of the football. But then it comes to where Trenton Simpson is that kind of hybrid edge rusher linebacker mold that could fit phenomenally in a very versatile Lou Anarumo, one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. But there's some other. Nolan Smith, same thing. But the position I'm going to go for them is a corner, specifically Christian Gonzalez. He's a big body corner, unlike Cam Taylor-Britt. Chidobe Awuzie is fantastic. Sadly, he tore his ACL. You don't know how he's going to come back next year. When he's going to come back, next year would be the last year of his deal. So regardless, you get a little bit of a safety blanket, but a really, really good player in Christian Gonzalez. Like I said, a bigger build for the quarterback position. He can kind of handle your bigger guys. And just, you can still re-sign Cheeto. You can still have 3 elite corners. It just provides you, like again, I kind of talked about it earlier. You need good corners in today's NFL. You just do. The better your corners are, the more you can do with your defense. Now, Tampa Bay, pick 19. This is going to be an interesting one. This is a pretty fun Hendon Hooker spot. Any of these quarterbacks, it's a fun spot. Really fun spot for them. do they do it? I don't really know, truth be told. Like offensive line's been solid. I could really see them doing that. And you know what? Where is he at? Where is he at? Interior. Oh, Sirens Torrance, baby. Just really good interior offensive lineman transfer from Louisiana. Just really, really good. Their offensive line is banged up. I know, like I said, they're banged up. They're going to get healthy, but they still need to get younger. They still are going to have to continue to build in from the trenches outwards, even when Tom Brady's not there. So it's a good building block for whatever they want to decide they want to do. Now, Denver Broncos get a first-round pick thanks to Bradley Chubb. This is originally the Dolphins pick. They could go a lot of ways here. I mean, Russell Wilson hasn't been the best. The defense has been phenomenal. But what do you want to do? I think this is where you know, kept Little and Trenton Simpson. Honestly, I don't want him going that low in my draft, but it just kind of how that worked out. I'm a big Trenton Simpson guy. You know, they just, like I said, lost a pass rusher, Bradley Chubb. So kind of, not that they're like the same player, but Trenton Simpson can get to the quarterback, and it kind of just seamlessly fits there. Now, New England again. I want to give Mac Jones a weapon. I don't know which one here I like. I'm going to go Kayshon Boutte from LSU. Another guy that's kind of fallen down a little bit, but when he tests, he's going to test phenomenally. When you watch the film from his younger days, you're going to be amazed. Don't let 1 year of struggles like this really throw you off of the elite prospect he could truly turn out to be. Again, Seattle, back up again. Took a little bit of a risk with Brian Brzee. Not really much of a risk in my opinion. He's just got to stay healthy. There's some people, really fun guys here you can pair him with. I like Antonio Johnson a lot. Maybe we go corner here. I do like me some Clark Phillips. Let's go ahead and do that. You know, corners. This is a great corner class. You have a great corner in Tariq Woolen. Now you add an interior pass rusher and another outside corner. You got a lot you can do. You can just so much you can do. I really love the dual flip of the corners pass rusher for Seattle here. The offense has been good. You know, the offensive linemen, shout out to them for the tackles they drafted. Absolutely phenomenal. They got good receivers. They got good tight ends. They got a good running back. Maybe you can beef up the interior offensive line a little bit. There's definitely some guys. You know, I know centers don't go terribly high, but John Michael Schmitz is unreal. You know, you can move some of these guys inside. I know Patrick Jones has done it before. Jalen Duncan. You know, these guys can do that stuff. Even Cody, Maj down here. Like, there's a lot of people that can do that stuff. But we'll see if they want to do it. The Jets. I don't know if the Jets will end up be picking this low, but it's totally possible. They need a little bit of everything as well. Becton hasn't really worked out for them. Their defensive line is elite. The cornerback room is elite. I think they could use some better linebackers play. You know what? I wasn't for sure going to go linebacker here. I was kind of just looking, even tight end. Some of these guys feel really good. I debated offensive line here because, you know, that's what they need to succeed. But I really like the fit with Drew Sanders here. He's another defensive chess piece that they can really work with. Robert Saleh is going to continue to want to draft defense in the first round, and I think that could be his guy there. I know it might not be the biggest need for them, but he's a hell of a player. He can get to the quarterback too. He can do a little bit of everything. He's a pretty good modern-day linebacker, and the guy Robert Saleh probably would love, to be frankly honest with you. Now, the Buffalo Bills, if this is the way the board falls, Bijan Robinson will be a Bill. He is the biggest question mark to me in this draft. He's one of the best running back prospects we have ever seen, in my opinion. But we know how that position has kind of been trending downwards in the NFL. So who's really going to take that risk earlier? He has a wide range of outcomes. I could see him being taken like as early as like round pick 9-ish and all the way down. I don't think that'll happen, but if somebody picks him any time in the first round, it's just not going to surprise me. The dude is a stud. Absolute stud. Now, Baltimore Ravens. What are you going to do if you're Baltimore? You probably need to draft a receiver. Do you like any of these guys? Maybe. I like Zay Flowers. I like Jalen Hyatt, Rashid Rice, Josh Allen. All these guys are good. Who's going to fit the best with Lamar? I don't know. You know, you could beef up your offensive line because we all know how important their offensive line is. You know, you can go for a corner. They've, you know, addressed that pretty well the last couple of years. You could also get a linebacker if you end up losing on Roquan Smith if he doesn't re-sign. So, You also could use some edge rush help. I think I'm going to take just BPA here, which is what the Ravens tend to do. Just give Isaiah Foskey from Notre Dame. The fit, a little. They need some edge help. They do. So it's not a bad fit by any means, but just a little bit of a BPA there for Baltimore. That's kind of how they approach a draft always. And I think it just kind of works out there just like that. Pair of shots in Ohio State here. The Titans need to beef up that offensive line a little bit. It's good. It's solid. Don't get me wrong. Like Vrabel, the Ohio State guy, takes his Ohio State tackle, can do a little bit of everything. Just really solid player. Really solid player. Now here, the Cowboys, again, they can do a little bit of everything. There's some linebackers here. No, Soul, Totoa. I even like Overshawn a little bit. I don't think he'll be a first-round guy, but I do like him. What do you want to do? Receiver is honestly really talking to me a little bit, but I don't know if it'll happen. Corner is another name. I like a bunch of these guys. Garrett Williams tore his ACL, I believe it was. That was terrible for his draft stock. Witherspoon's a very fun player as well. That's just something bringing me back to receiver with this team, and I think they could fall. I can see them fall in love with a guy like Jalen Hyatt. Add some speed to your offense. They don't really have too much speed. CeeDee Lamb is a fast guy, but he doesn't play that like deep threat option. Let Jalen Hyatt stretch the field. Really, obviously enjoying a huge breakout. But it kind of, we see them in the market for OBJ. We saw them in the market for other receivers at the trade deadline. Add some speed, stretch up field, open up the run game, make everything easier for everybody. Just a really good scheme fit there. Good talent at that as well. So Jalen Hyatt's Dallas, I like that a lot. The Giants, again, I don't think the Giants are going to end up picking this low or this high, I guess, technically. But there's a lot they could do. I would not shock me if the Giants took a shot on one of these quarterbacks. Hayden Hooker's pretty fun. And another name I'm going to throw out here, Cameron Ward. Upside is ridiculous with this guy. He's going to take some time to develop. I can see the Giants going a 1 to 2 year deal with Daniel Jones, letting Cameron Ward sit, or whoever they draft sit, and just really attacking things from there. I'm really tempted to give them a quarterback there. I really truthfully am. But if not, there's a couple receivers here. I like this receiver class is just really fun, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give him Rashid Rice. Just a little bit of a different kind of player than they don't truthfully have. They got Kenny Galladay, man. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson's pretty fun. I like him a lot. You got to worry about Saquon. But you just got to get some more talent in the receiving room. I like Rashid Rice a lot from SMU. This Giants pick, man, it was really hard for me not to pick a quarterback, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. But there's a lot they need. There's a lot they need. But somehow they're winning games, and that's all that matters. Now, the Minnesota Vikings, again, another team that could take a quarterback. I begged them to take a receiver last year. I don't know if they'd take a receiver here. I think if this is the case, there's a bunch of other kind of players that are just more valuable. They need cornerback help still. Patrick Peterson been great. Obviously, we saw what he did against the Bills, but again, they need help. I'm going to have him take Nolan Smith here. I know Nolan Smith is hurt. I wanted to maybe try to save him, but he's so good. If he wasn't hurt, he would not probably be available. Vikings are a good team. They draft well. So just take the BPA there and worry about it later. Now, the Chiefs are a little bit of the same situation. They need an edge. Who do you want from this group? Very good edge class. I've been saying it the whole time. BJ Ojolari is great. Jared Verse, pretty fun story. Andre Carter and Felix Aduke-Uzama are fantastic players. I think the Chiefs will fall in love with, any of these guys. There's so many, bro. I was just going to say a name, but I don't know who it would be. I'm going to go ahead and give him Jared Verse. Just another good football player. They need help to continue to rush the passer. They need to get younger on the defensive line. They did that last year. In their first round with one of their picks. So they're going to do it again this year. The Eagles, again, can do whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. But luckily for them, there is another really good running back, Jamar Gibbs from Alabama. Fits like a glove in that offense, can do everything, can catch the ball. Can just really do everything, man. He's so good. This running back class is loaded. Now the Texans, again, this is technically the first pick of the second round, thanks to the Dolphins cheating and trying to do some things that didn't work out. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and give the Texans another pick here. They could go receiver. They could continue. I'm gonna give them somebody on the defensive line. I don't know if I want some of these interior defensive linemen are very good. Saki Iko from Baylor, phenomenal. Javon Dexter, phenomenal. But I'm gonna continue this edge and give him BJ Ojolari. I kind of just wrap things up there. Like I said, that was technically the first pick of the second round. But regardless, that is our pretty much midway point mock draft. There's so many things that are going to change. So many things are going to change. I really wanted to take advantage of this now with the Raiders picking high, with the Packers struggling, with the Bucks struggling. A lot of newer draft positions for a lot of these teams. A lot of questions that are fun right now that I'm sure we'll have more clear answers to as the year goes on. But for now, that was a fun one, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys here on the TWSN YouTube channel again soon.